Mirror, mirror on the wall. Join me, a 29-year-old dad of 2 daughters, in this conversation starter. My 3-year-old loves Snow White after my wife introduced it to her. For me, it's not my favourite, I must say. Sorry, it's just a bit but it is the original, and so it feels right that a lot of the themes I often talk about in this Disney Church series do stem from this Snow White film. You may hear me repeating some of our previously explored topics. There's obviously a lot of biblical references and Christian imagery, but we'll come to that in a sec. Maybe the real villain of the film is the mirror, a reflection of ourselves telling us we're not enough. It shouldn't only reflect the imagined reality we've told ourselves, but that we are loved as we are. Another big theme, I think, is hope in adversity. It's typically dark in places. It's not an escapism from our reality, but actually tackling some deep topics, something that I think, I admire Disney for doing, and something the church doesn't always do particularly well. There's so many biblical parallels. Symbolism of good and evil. There's messages on the importance of kindness, but also the dangers of vanity. Then symbolism with the Garden of Eden. Very clear parallels with this story. We have a poisoned apple, which if you eat makes all your wishes come true. I mean, come on, it's basically the story, isn't it? It's the Bible story. Snow White herself welcoming the stranger, being inclusive of those who are different from ourselves. I mean, values of Jesus. Of course, we have a resurrection. Then other things that, again, we have talked about elsewhere, the feminism. We have a very passive Snow White as a female lead that relies on a Prince Charming to come and rescue her. I think it is right that we update some of these stories. Of course, this itself is an updated or, reimagined telling of the Brothers Grimm fairy tale, but Snow White as the first of these was very groundbreaking. Disney was willing to innovate and take risks, and it paid off. Here for me, there's connections with the church, and like today, these are 2 big institutions, Disney and the church, which I feel like have drifted away from their roots in this risk-taking. Today, they are both more likely to remake classics from yesteryear in very safe ways. It's uninspiring and frustrating. So what do you think?